Now let us look at Poisson distribution. So the binomial distribution you already know now. Suppose the number of trials goes to infinity and the probability for success goes to 0. Okay. So in this case, if you set limit n tends to infinity, p tends to 0, np goes to a constant mu. Okay. Suppose this happens. So n is very large and p is very small. So, but the n into p is a constant value. Now, in that case, so what is the binomial distribution? Pn is equal to, can one of you can tell me? Right? This is correct, right? Yeah. So here, suppose you substitute that one here. So what you get? So this one is n factorial divided by n minus n factorial q raised to n p raised to n q raised to n minus. So for large, because capital N is very large, right? So there is Stirling's formula which is basically the large factorial. If n is large, you can approximate it as n raised to n e raised to minus n root 2 pi n. Okay. So we are not going to solve this one, but you take this formula. It is a very useful formula. You had to, so many places in basically in statistical mechanics you have to apply this. For very large n, the n factorial goes like this. Okay. So this is also some derivation is there in the Balakrishnan's book. You can actually read that. Okay. So I am not getting into that. So now what all of you have to do is substitute for large n this approximation in this. Okay. See what are you getting? Q you write it as 1 minus p. Okay. Q you write it as a 1 minus p. P is p only. Then large factorials you approximate using this formula. All of you, can you just do that? You tell me what you get. So what are the factorials you are going to approximate? Let us have a idea regarding this. Are you going to approximate this? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to approximate this?
No, sir. No, sir.
What about this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So you just do this substitution for these two factorials, then you give me what you get for large n. Okay. Take a couple of minutes, no issue. You can even switch on the video so that I can see you are doing the calculation. See what you have got. So you are saying, so okay, somebody got the answer n power n e power minus n divided by n factorial. Okay. See. So this is the answer. All of you are getting this or you are getting something else?
Yes, sir, same.
Is anybody getting something else or you want any clarification regarding this?
Sir, I got something else. I will check again, sir.
Yes, sir, even me. So I got limb power into this thing.
Okay, so this one what you did? So this one, see root 2 pi n actually will cancel out from this one and this one, okay, for large n, large capital N. So here you have n power n, e power minus n. And this one n minus n, power n minus n, then e power minus n minus n, then this is n factorial, p power n, q is what? 1 minus p, right? Power n minus n. So what do you do next?
So one more term will come, right?
Which term?
Sir, under root 2 pi n upon under root 2 pi n minus n. So
That will cancel out. For large, see, for large capital N, that will cancel out.
yeah.
Okay. So if you simplify this, so what is 1 minus p power n minus n? What do you get?
So it's 1, sir.
1. Okay.
Yes, sir, because P is close to 0.
Okay.
Sir, e to the power minus p into n minus n.
E to the power minus p into n minus n. Okay.
Sir, e to the power minus mu.
Yeah, what you can do is you know that np is equal to mu, right? So mu p you can write it as mu divided by capital N. So you can substitute here p mu divided by capital N. So for large n you can approximate that using an exponential function. Okay. So and this one you will get mu power n by capital N power n. So that capital N power n and this capital N power n will cancel out. Then this e power minus n and e power minus n will cancel out. So there is a e power plus n here. So what you get here? This one I can take capital N outside. Okay. If I take capital N outside here, I will get 1 minus n divided by capital N all power n minus n. What is that equal to? Again, e power minus small n. Right? That e power minus small n cancel with e power plus n here. So n power n, capital N power n is there, that n power n will cancel with this. So remaining only thing you will have mu power capital small n here, then divided by n factorial. What else will be there?
E to the power minus mu.
So this one for large capital N, this will become e power minus mu. So that is the answer. Okay. So you just work out. So using yeah.
So when we take out the n from the denominator term, that n minus n to the power n minus n term, sir, we approximate the power to be n only, right?
See this one, if you take it outside, n power n n. So this is what you get n if you take it outside, right? 1 minus n divided by n n minus n, right? Is what you get if you, yeah. So what you get here? What is 1 minus n by capital N power n minus n?
Sir, e to the power minus n.
Minus n, okay. Then
So then the n to the power capital N term will cancel out, but we will have a n power minus small n term, right?
n power small n,
Capital is very large, so that we can
yeah. So that is the thing. So I am just seeing whether any other term you can actually cancel out. But the assumption, because n minus n is very large, means capital N is very tends to infinity. This is basically n power n only. Okay. But there is no other term to cancel out, because here p is mu power n. So 1 second. So you get here we substitute. Okay, so p is equal to mu power n. So what you get is mu divided by n power n. Okay, so this one divided by this n power n minus n, right? So this n power minus n cancel with the n power n, right? This term cancel with this term, right or not?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you don't have to give that large n approximation there. Okay, so you just put it. Okay, every terms will come out. Okay, so there won't be an issue. So what you are getting is Pn is equal to n power n e power minus n divided by n factorial. So what are the values the n can take here for n is equal to?
0.
0, 1 up to infinity. Okay. So you can try to plot this. This is actually discrete values of only integer values of n. Okay, negative is not there. So n Pn. For large n, what happens to this distribution? So for large n, what happens to this distribution? Which will dominate, this one or this one?
E to the power term.
So this is e power minus n. Obviously, this will goes to 0. This also is factorial. So that compared to n power n will actually dominate. So large. It's not a continuous thing. Okay. So I'm just putting a line like this because it is a discrete. Only integer values of n. So for small n, what happens? What is n is, so lowest value, n is equal to 0, what you get the answer? For n is equal to 0, what is the value?
Sir, 1.
1. 1?
So not defined, right?
Not defined?
Sir, I think it should be 1 because all the terms are going to 1.
N is equal to 0 is not defined, that is what you are saying? Let us see what is n is equal to. See, first of all, let me ask you a question, whether the answer n is equal to 0, the answer 1, is that correct?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm getting the whole thing in terms of mu, sir.
Sorry. I think I made a.
mu to the power n to the power.
I made a mistake here. So this is a mu power n. Okay. Okay.
And e to the power also minus mu.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So we are analyzing something wrong. Okay. So mu power n e power minus mu divided by n factorial. So let us start from the beginning itself. For n is equal to very large. Okay. So the denominator is dominating, goes to 0. Then n is equal to 0. What do you get?
e to the power minus mu.
E to the power minus mu. Okay, that mu is some positive constant, right? So you get some value which is less than 1. Yes or right? P0 will be some value which will be less than 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if it is 1, some value less than 1. What about n is equal to 1?
Mu into e to the power minus mu.
Mu into e power minus mu, is it greater than e power mu?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So is there a peak come in between? So obviously it is increasing, then decreasing. Okay. So you can find out what is the average n. Okay. So this is basically the Poisson distribution. So what will be the kth factorial moment? So let us find out the generating function. What will be the generating function for this? F of z, right? So what is the generating function for this? Summation n is equal to 0 to infinity mu power n e power minus mu divided by n factorial into z power n. So what is this equal to?
Send e to the power mu into z minus mu.
So e to the power mu into
Z minus 1.
z minus 1. All of you are okay with this? Because e power mu minus mu you can take it outside, other one is mu z power n divided by n factorial. So that is the exponential series. So e power mu z you get, then e power minus mu. So mu I can take it from the both. So z minus 1. So this is f of z. So in that case, what will you get the kth factorial moment? So what is kth factorial moment? N into n minus 1 up to n minus k plus 1 average. What is that? Because it's very easy to calculate. So you take the derivative of this with respect to z k times and set z is equal to 1. What do you get? If you take the derivative of this with respect to k, with respect to z k times and set z is equal to 1, what do you get? That is what this kth moment.
Mu to the power k, sir.
Mu to the power k. So what will be the average n? You put k is equal to 1 in this. If you put k is equal to 1, you get average n. What you will get average n?
Mu.
Mu. If you put k is equal to 2, you get n into n minus 1. Average of n into n minus 1. That is mu square. So that is average n square minus average n, which is equal to mu square. right? So what you get average n square? Yeah? Mu square? Mu square plus mu. Then what you get variance?
Mu itself.
Mu. So this is the one of the important properties or property of Poisson distribution. Basically the mean is equal to variance. Okay. So it is having lot of implications in quantum mechanics or quantum optics. Okay. There are some kind of states which are classical states, okay, non-classical states. These things you can discuss in terms of this whether mean is equal to variance, then we say that it is a Poisson distribution. They are the classical states. Okay. So then you can have other two kind of states, sub-Poissonian statistics and super-Poissonian statistics. That depends on whether mean is less than variance or mean is greater than variance. Okay. So now let us look at one example which you already know earlier, which will give you the Poisson distribution. So you know the coherent state, right? So what is the coherent state? E power, if I expand it in the number state, I get summation n is equal to 0 to infinity alpha power n by root n factorial k10, right? This we know, this state. Yeah.
Sir, I think it is alpha square upon 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay, minus mod alpha square by 2 summation n is equal to 0 to infinity alpha power n by root n factorial k10. So now suppose you take, this is called a number operator, A dag A. In the case of coherent state, if you calculate this quantity, that is bra alpha A dag A, we already done earlier. So what you get here, A acting on ket alpha will give you alpha, A dag acting on bra alpha will give you alpha star. We have done that. Okay, in the dual space when you go, because it is A acting on ket alpha, if you get go to the dual space, it will become A dagger acting on bra alpha. So A acting on ket alpha is alpha at alpha. So A dagger acting on bra alpha will be alpha star bra alpha. Okay. So this will be equal to mod alpha square. So this is basically the capital N is the A dagger, which is basically the number of photons in the state. So this will give you the average number of photons in the state, that is mod alpha square. Okay. So this is the average number of photons in this coherent state, which is equal to mod alpha square. Now let us just calculate what is bra m ket alpha. So I can write this one as, say, n average n. Okay, number of photons, average n is bra, means the average of n, capital N, number operator, which is giving you mod alpha square. So this will be so e power minus mod alpha square by 2. So mod alpha square is average n, right? N average. So what I can write here is e power minus, right? Then summation n is equal to 0 to infinity alpha power n divided by root n factorial m what will be this equal to, this quantity?
Sir, alpha to the power n upon n factorial, root n factorial.
So e power minus average n divided by 2 alpha power m divided by root m factorial. So what will be this one? This is basically modulus square of this quantity. What will be that equal to?
E bar minus n average.
N average.
Bar is equal to n.
Sir, n average upon 2, n average to the power n upon root n factorial.
No, is this correct? E power minus n average? If this is a number, so if you take the, basically it's a square of this one you have to write, e power minus n average. Alpha is a complex number, so you have to so this into this star, that is what this quantity is, right? This is a complex number, z into z star is mod z square. So this is a complex number, okay? So alpha star power m, alpha power m. So that is alpha star power m. Root m factorial into root m factorial is m factorial, right? So alpha into alpha star, what is that equal to? Mod alpha square. What is mod alpha square equal to by definition?
N average.
So n average power m, okay, divided by m factorial, okay. So now you learn in later on, this is basically m is the number of m photon state, okay. So ket alpha is an coherent state. So what is the probability to find m photons in the state ket alpha? So this is not the probability, the modulus square of that will give you the probability. So this is the probability to find m photons in this coherent state. Suppose you have a coherent state, if you make a measurement, what is the probability to have a m photons in that? So this you will learn in quantum mechanics about those details, but right now you understand that this is basically the probability to find m photons in the state ket alpha, okay. So I can write that as P m, m or n does not matter because I can write it as P n number of photons, okay, in coherent state alpha. So I'll write P alpha here, okay. Find n photons in the coherent state alpha, which is equal to e power minus n bar power n divided by n factorial. So what kind of probability is this now? What kind of distribution is this? It's a Poisson distribution with the mean is equal to mu is the mean, right? Mu is the mean of Poisson distribution. So mu is equal to n bar, which is equal to mod alpha square. See, the coherent state, which is basically the ideal laser light, which is having a probability distribution which is Poisson. Okay, it's a Poisson distribution. So let me ask you another question. There is a one-dimensional lattice, okay? So there is a person here, okay? The person may be either any of, so this site, so each of them are different sites. So you can call this a site J. So this is J plus 1, this is J minus 1. The person to move the next site to the right, you call with a probability alpha. basically that person is having, for example, you can take the person is having a coin, a biased coin. If head is biased with alpha probability and the tail is biased with the beta probability, so each side the person tosses the coin. If it is head, he will move to the right. If it is tail, the person moves to the left. Okay. So the problem is clear, right? So if it is unbiased coin, equal probability, he will move right and left. Okay. So half half. Now it is a biased coin, alpha to the right and beta to the left. So say that this each step take say tau time. Okay. So we are now talking about the time tau. Okay. Or each one take a unit time, 1 unit time, each step. So the question is this: after n time, that means each step is 1 unit. After n time, where that person will be, okay, or after n time, what is the probability to reach the site J? Is the question clear? So n times the person has made the toss, toss has been done. Each time, each trial, the person goes to right or left with the probability alpha or beta, and so the question asked is, after n time, what is the probability to reach the site J? Okay. So you just think about 2 minutes. Okay. Is the question clear to all of you? This is basically a simple random walk in a one dimension. Okay. It is a simple random walk in a one dimension. So question asked is, what is the probability to reach the site J after n trials? So you just think about how to find out this. I'll give you 2 minutes. Yeah. If you have.
If n is odd, then the probability will be 0, right?
We'll come about odd or even. Okay, so probability odd, probability J is n is odd, probability won't be 0. Okay, I'll come to that. That is not correct statement. First of all, let us see, after n times, what is the maximum site he can reach? n. So that means J should be, the modulus of J should be less than or equal to n, right? If modulus of J is greater than or equal to n, the probability will be equal to 0, right? Because the max, suppose each time the person is getting head, okay, the probability alpha or the success with alpha. So the person will keep on moving n times, the maximum reaches some site which will be n. So J can be maximum n. Suppose the beta is larger than alpha and always getting beta, the maximum in the left hand side also the possibility is maximum n. Even beta need not be greater than alpha, because alpha beta is there is a rare possibility that it can move every time you can get a tail and you move to the maximum n. So J can be maximum plus n or minus n. Okay, that is for clear. But you can get head and tail. Okay, so now I come to the next whatever said, if it is J is odd, the probability is 0. Is that the thing you said, or n is odd, probability is 0?
No, sir, I got it actually.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so no problem. So now suppose take n is odd. Suppose n is odd. What are the sides the person can reach? N is odd. Let us think about even first. N is even. What are the sides that person can reach?
Won't be even sides.
Oh, it should be at even sides, right? If j is equal to, suppose j is equal to 2, he can move, the person can move, okay, suppose 2 steps right. So 0, 1, 2. Or 1 step left and 1 step right, you get, the person will reach 0. The other possibility is 2 steps left, then reach minus 2. So these are the 3 possibilities when you have 2, right? So right twice, okay, continuously, then right 1 left, 0 come back, left right once and come back, left twice. These are the possibilities. So if n is odd, the person will reach the even sides. If n is even, the person will reach even sides. If n is odd, where the person will, the person will reach odd sides. Okay. Now, so what is the sample space then? We will start after putting the sample space. We will start in the next class. Okay. So what are the values j can take? Sample spaces. What are the values j can take? Minus n to minus n to n. So last one and first one are correct. In between, yes, irrespective of even or odd, can I fill in? Is it minus n minus 1 or n minus 2? N minus 1 is not correct. Okay. So n minus 2. Then n minus 2. Right? You can see if it is a even number, you start, n is suppose even, you reach that, suppose 10, you reach 10, 8, minus 10, minus 8, and so on. Right? So if n is odd, you reach 9, 7, 5, 3, and so on. So this is the sample space. Okay. Irrespective of whether even or odd, we can write down that this is a sample space for j. So next class we can actually start writing about the probability. Okay. You all think about this problem. We will discuss in the next class.